post-Franco era, what was the state of the Catalan culture and its relationship with Spain before the mid-1980s when the War of the Flags began, and then on to the Barcelona Olympics in 1992. So during that time, what was the state of Catalan culture?
Well, Franco died in 1975. Of course, the Catalan language hadn't been spoken for 40 years, so the first thing they had to do was to get their language back on track. So they set up the Institute of Catalan Studies, they set up Catalan Dictionary, and they recovered their language, which was immediately obligatory in public schools. For example, my children study in Catalan before they study in Spanish. We started to get media in Catalan. The Catalan had a TV channel in 1983, their own newspapers in 1976, 77, radio stations which started to speak in Catalan. So that was one game. Secondly, of course, the Catalans got their government back in 1977, the Generalitat. So public administration, hospitals, schools, roads, urban structures, everything was kind of using Catalan identity and symbols and language to get a kind of feeling of Catalanism back on the streets. And then, of course, when they had the coup, the attempted coup in 1981, it looked like it was all going to go wrong again. But once after the 23rd of February, the coup failed, and the Catalans realised that they would, get their identity back, and the democracy was more consolidated, which then led to Barcelona being designated Olympic City and where we are today.
So, explain the impact that the Barcelona Olympics in 1992 had on Catalan identity at the time of the Olympics, and how it has transformed and changed since the Games.
Well, to begin with, it was a massive injection of pride, because it's one of those examples of a country it's a city that's not the capital got the Games. So it also helped that the president of the IOC, Samaranch, who's just died on Monday, he was Catalan, he was from Barcelona, so they did have it. The wind was in their favour. But it transformed Barcelona from being a mid-range European city into being probably one of the top 3 most visited European capitals now, with the low-cost airlines and so on. So remember, the Olympic period is from 1986 to 92, so there's 6 years of massive urban restructuring, particularly the airport. Barcelona gained the beach. It was a port that kind of turned its back on the beach. The beach was kind of badly looked upon. The whole recovery of the artistic tradition of Gaudi, massive tourism, came on the Japanese tourist map, and it hasn't really relented since the Games. It's not like there's been a dip since the Games. I think it's continued going up and up and up. And now, of course, there's rural, ski and beach tourism, Gaudi and all the Sagrada familiarization of Barcelona is kind of on the up and up and up. I mean, there's a downside to it, which is that when I first came to Barcelona 20 years ago, there was 1.9% foreigner rate in Barcelona. So for every 100 people, there are 2 foreigners. Now it's 21% foreigners. So for every 100 people, 21 foreigners. And that's made it more of a sort of kind of typical European city with very similar shops that you might find in Paris or you might find in Prague. So it's kind of, for me, it's lost a little bit of identity, but that might also be because I've lived here too long.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 18 years since the Olympics, and you're saying, it's been progressively going up and up and up. Can you talk about some of the strides that Catalan identity has made in those 20 years in becoming, sort of a separate entity, being themselves and not being a part of Spain?
Yeah, they're pushing and pushing and pushing. For example, police force. Catalans now have their own police force. They've made a lot of moves in the health service. They are trying and succeeding to get Catalan used in the legal system by judges, by magistrates. People have the right to defend themselves in Catalan, so they're trying to make the judges, if they want to pass their magistrate exams, they have to be able to attend people in Spanish and in Catalan. Barcelona last year has just inaugurated another terminal at the airport. It's still struggling to be a truly kind of Atlantic destination, still going through Madrid if you want to fly, for example, to the US normally. But in the judicial system, in questions of security, it's pushing forward. The language has consolidated itself. The biggest radio stations that I listen to in Barcelona are now Catalan language station. The whole Catalanization of Barça Football Club, for example, which they're playing that card a lot because the president of the club is very, very Catalan, so he's using Barcelona as a kind of political project. Yeah, I would say on all those fronts, it's pushing forward. It's now trying for a new statute, which is to get even greater autonomy from Spain. But the Spanish courts sent that proposal back just 10 days ago. There's 10 judges and it was sent back by 6 to 4, so there's still a tension between Barcelona and Madrid, but usually tensions are usually quite healthy phenomena which tend to push countries forward.
That's really all we have. Thank you very much, Professor Tulloch. Really appreciate it.